Welcome to Bourbon in the Boardroom, the show where we pour a drink, drop the titles, and talk shop like humans instead of headshots. I'm William Haygood, and for this episode, I've got a guy who somehow finds the time to do 3 jobs that all boil down to the same thing: connecting people who need to know each other. Tyler White is a senior recruiting director at Coda Search and Staffing, VP at CISO Ascent and CIO Ascent, as well as finding time to host his own podcast called Timeout Leaders. Tyler is a recruiter, a community builder, a podcaster, all one guy, same gift. Let's pour one and get into it. All right, welcome to the inaugural Bourbon in the Boardroom with the Tyler White. He is unfortunately for me, he is Pig Suey, big old Arkansas Razorback fan, but that's fine. We still love everybody the same. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Dude, Woo Pig, well, good to be here, man. I'm glad I can kick off your first episode, man. Let's party. You ready?
It's been a long time coming, man. Like, I think since the first time you and I talked, we started talking about you got to do a podcast, man. They're fun. Let's get you out, get you something to do. Let's do one. And of course,
yeah, man,
my mind runs 100 miles an hour. So
yeah. Well, and I always told myself, man, like the reason I started mine is like, you know, the family always knew how hard I worked. My employees knew how hard what kind of person I was. But meeting like a new person that doesn't know you once a week, that probably has their stuff together, kind of sharpens my iron, man. So thanks for having me on, and I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely, man. Let's go ahead and head into the boardroom then. Just tell me a little bit about Tyler White. You know, I mean, a lot of people can watch your podcast, which is Timeout with Leaders. They learn a lot from you there, but I really feel like there's a story there that's not always told, because your podcast is not about you. Your podcast is about the leaders that you want to interact with, right? So what built Tyler White into what the animal man he is today?
Man, a lot of great people. And I chalk a lot of it up to God, Will. It was a long, jagged, crooked marathon. Like when I tell people that I kind of just arrived like 2.5 years ago, they don't believe me. But it took me 38 years to figure this thing out, especially in business. Grew up in a sports family. Dad coached high school football in Texas and Arkansas. So we like to grow up winning by 60, Will. Like winning by 4 was not good enough. You know, we didn't like that in the White House, man. We don't like those situations. You know, we like to prepare enough, you know, to throw the mercy rule on and then throw guest running back in every play, you know, get all the kids in. But I think what it is, man, is showing up is what built me, and learning how to show up. And I had some really cool examples growing up in life, like looking back on it. At the time, I had no idea like a football play would like still help me to this day. It was my dad's favorite play. It was power I right 44 wham, man. It was double the nose, double the tackle, hand it off to our thoroughbred and see how big of boys they are, man. It was just, you know, and what was cool about that play is a lot of people didn't get much credit, you know, but it was just, and we would just wear teams down all game long. You know, it wasn't about the first one. It wasn't about the second one, Will. It was like about the 28th one, right? It's kind of what hits me nowadays. And it kind of like relates to like when people say first impressions matter. In the White House, like your 109th impression matters. Like, where are you at impression 130, dude? You know, that's where like I think character's built. And one more thing, Will, I had another coach, Coach Tom Olson. He was this like 5'10" redheaded dude who could just make it rain from outside. Played AAU with Sean Kemp and Anthony Peeler. One day he said, "White, if you want to be all state or go D1, you got to be like the ocean waves. Never stop coming in. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, you know." And just that mentality of just keeping that constant motion and in line with my higher power as well. You're unstoppable, man, because people will stop when you won't. So that's a little nutshell about me. You know, grew up in a competitive, fun family household. Thought we were rich as hell. We weren't, but showing up and doing what you say you're going to do goes a long way.
Yeah. Being that person that's the accountable one is always shows up a lot more. I think you definitely recognize it a lot more as you get older, right? You start seeing things and then you look back and like, man, like that coach, right? He said he laid some knowledge on you back then. You probably didn't think a whole lot. You're just like, ocean, what the hell, man? I'm over here in Texas. It's dry. There ain't no ocean over here. Who knows, right? That was usually my deal. Now, like you say that, I look back and, mine was the basketball coach. He was like, persistence. Remember the story, right? So that year we all had shirts, our shooting shirts said persistence on the front and on the back said, remember the story. Well, everybody's like, what's the story? And I'm like, man, that story's like Fight Club. Nobody talks about Fight Club, right? So it
And
was an
that's where
inside thing, right? But I
that
guarantee you, I could point you to some people that are still around from that era of my life, and they would, if you tell them that, they just smile.
yeah,
So
and Will, that's where the belly laughs are, man. The belly laughs aren't at the end or the verdict or the final score or getting done with the project at work. The belly laughs are like messing up during the story that we don't talk about, right? Or we do talk about and tell people it's okay to mess up because this is how we became geniuses at this because we effed it up so many times.
I think that's one piece that we miss today, right? Is that yeah, we saw that the project completed, hopefully it completed on time, on budget, even within life, right? Like you did the thing that you said you're going to do, but you kind of stated it earlier. It was a jagged line. We expect it to be a slope of, let's go up this thing, but rarely ever is it a slope, right? And that's kind of the point of this, right? What's that one story, that time that you sat there, the knowledge that you shared? With my team, I'm usually pretty open. I talk about the times that I brought down production in the middle of the day. Um, I've never done it on purpose. I will say that. I didn't do it on purpose, but all of a sudden, production's down and nobody knows why. And I'm like, I don't know why either. And go look, like, oh, I think I do know why. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. But when you share those, I think it creates a trust with your team, with the people around you, that you're willing to, you know, take your lumps of salt and move forward. So
It,
how do you
man,
how do you feel that resonates
man,
with
all
people
over the
that you
place,
talk
Will.
with and in
To
your
me,
life?
man, it hits in so many different ways in life. Like celebrating mistakes. I think Toyota does that pretty well. I think when they find a mistake in the process, they like literally like throw a party. I think that's really cool. Why I think that's cool, it like reminds me back in like AAU basketball and stuff, or just even in the day to day business today, like going off of instinct compared to going off of thinking. And if you can, in my experience, if you can get Tyler White in a lane and I get to go pancake some linebackers for the day, that and I can go 130%. Same with on a basketball court. If I have four D1 athletes around me, I'm the point guard, and I get those fellows running the court and having fun, it's freaking game over, man. And they don't even know it. But the opposite of that is the opposite of that. It's arguing with each other. It's pointing fingers. It's all the like thinking too much. So the best coaches, the best leaders I've ever seen in my life have a cool way to curate how to get someone in a lane with all the confidence in the world, mind you, and have them go 140 miles an hour, man. Without, instinct over thinking. My buddy the other day said signal over noise. Just that clarity to give someone that has talent. I don't know. I don't have words for it, but like that's when you were talking about that, that's what I was thinking of. Like, how do you get your team having fun, whooping ass, winning by 60 and doing it over again, and then sharing it through the team, getting more people on the court, getting more players on the field because we're up so much, because we prepared so much. Are we the best condition? No, but we know more about the game is how I grew up. Like we didn't even like run line drills in Pee Wee. Like everyone thought Coach White, like Big Texas and Arkansas high school football coach, would make us run line drills. He was like, hell no. Y'all are in 7th grade. We're going to learn how to read the helmet. We're going to learn the ISO. We're going to learn our gaps, our holes, our discipline. I got to get 11 of y'all doing the same thing at one time. But, And again, it went back to, power right 44 wham. That was like the bread and butter. No one had to think on that play, Will, because we ran it so dang much. Granted, our seventh grade running back ran like a dang 4 or 540, so that didn't hurt nothing, but like, and we got to pick our team. It was one of those deals in a way, thanks Rogers Youth Center for putting up with my dad's draft shenanigans. Yeah, man, instinct over thinking. There's probably a better way to say that. But it reminds me of like when I'm teaching kids basketball. And by the way, when I'm 50, I'm going to go coach college basketball is what's going to happen in 9 years, everybody. I have a plan, but I'm coaching 2 kids out here at Lake Kiowa. And they were going off thinking and they were just doing moves without instinct. And then once I got them in like an attack mode, and I gave them an example, like I said, hey, have you ever seen Luka play? He doesn't start playing till he draws contact. Like, feel the contact, even in life. Like, if the 3 ball's not going in, get to the post. If your cold calls aren't working, go to people you already know. Like, create that momentum. And for me, I'm like a 90s guy, so bear with me on this. Contact to me was like helmet to helmet, right? That was like the last era. The coolest thing my dad could say in practice, it was like the first big crack of the year. He'd blow the whistle, and he would go like this, Will. He'd go, everyone thought you were in trouble. He'd go, "How good? You deserve a face mask." And everyone would just light up, because you used your head to hit. Yeah. But like, as soon as that big crack happened in practice, Will, you know how the rest of the practice went? Woo! Who's getting the next one? The band of brothers is formed. And Will, I took that same mentality to business. Mind you, it took me a while to figure this sensitivity out of business, because you can't just double the nose, double the linebacker, and hand it off to your thoroughbred for 3.5 yards for, 48 times in a row. But like, just the sensitivity of it. But man, I went on a rant there, but I meant every word, Will.
3 yards and a cloud of dust. That's the way we used to run.
And run it again. And then my dad would like do the whole, he would say, run it again, but then he would like throw his leg up in the air and only our quarterback would see it. I mean, bootleg. So guess what? No one knows. Everyone's going for the 4-hole to the 4-back. We're pulling the guard. We're doubling. But guess what? The quarterback is the only freaking one on the team, Will, that knows he's bootlegging. Woo! I mean, there's magic in that, man. Like, that is magic to me.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Be in the White household, man. That would have been.
Yeah.
I guess I'd have probably been your senior, but that's fine. We could have still had some good times. And when I was a freshman, all the seniors were my best friends. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it was just show up, say what you're going to do. And man, if you just do those 2 things, even in business, Will, when people ask me about my whatever success, I say the real C word is commitment, guys. And people are very underwhelmed with that. They kind of, what else? Yeah. Same with my brother. We're cut from the same cloth. Chase, why do you make over $1 million a year in real estate? He literally says this, Will, I answer my phone.
But being the person that answers every time is, that says something for the person, for the business, for everybody, right?
Yeah. Or if your house floods right now, who's going to get the business first? The person that answers the phone first?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
being available, man. Being available is the other part of how I just grew up, or I didn't even know it, but I went through a time in life where I wasn't available, man, and like it would be available on a condition, I guess. But now, well, dude, I am here, man, and if you need me, hell, I might be 2 days till I get back to you, but I'll get back to you.
Right.
Because the tables have kind of turned on me. Like, I get bombarded with messages now. Like, I feel like I'm like the decision maker now in a weird way. I'm like, but which gives me more empathy for y'all, man. I'm like, this is why you guys don't get practical messages, man.
There's a lot of truth to that. You ever have a time where you've got somebody that you see potential, right? They don't see their own potential. Like, you're sitting there looking, it's like, man, this Tyler White guy, like, there's so much excellence to be pissed by him, but he just doesn't even know. He would rather just kind of almost sit back in the wings and be that person that he's absolutely fine being on the team. He wants to be there to help, but he just does not understand, or she, right? I guess I should be they do not understand what they truly bring to the team. And how do you deal with those?
Well, I was
how
that,
do you try
man.
to build that up, right?
Dude, I still get told that, Will, to this day. And I'll tell you what, just tell them, man. It means so much to us. Cause like I've been called like naively unhumble before. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to jump in like a dadgum Sasquatch cannonball, mess things up a little bit, figure it out, and live to tell the war story. But those people, man, I think just tell them. Not all the time, but every now and then, let them know. Because it goes a long way, especially if they really have talent. Like when I was living in like a living hell, I like it's even worse when you have some fire in you
Mm-hmm.
and you like, you kicked ass in life till 24, 25, whatever, 22. And then that road of just that gap of like darkness I had. The real reason, I destructed my body during then, because I had something in me, man. Like you said, the guy who just wants to hang out in the corner and be mediocre, they probably can get away or just get by with that. But man, like if you see someone with talent, try to connect a dot for them. I did it in Florida. I met a guy who was a manager at Starbucks for 8 years. He like got promoted super fast, and he was saying, "How do I make more than 70 grand or something?" Right? And I said, "Let my subconscious think for 3 hours. Give me because I'm a rain man sometimes." And all of a sudden, I go, "Have you ever applied?" So I said, "Wait." And he was showing me his reviews, Will, of like customers. And I was like, "Bro, okay, let me think." And then I was like, "Have you ever applied at Dutch Brothers, Seven Brew, XYZ?" And then we got on LinkedIn, and sure as enough, there were like these open positions. I have contacts at these places, so I don't connect a dot for them that they might not see. Like this guy had never thought of it, Will. Like successfully opened different branches, 26 years old, head manager, but is not a lot of those people aren't quitters either. Like us 90s people don't quit a lot, if you know what I mean. Like I think my parents are still in the same house. My dad, same school, like mom forever. But like the best move I've ever made was I quit a job. And I was hell bent on not. I was like, I am going to sell this MSSP if my life depends on it. But I just didn't have passion for it, man. And I kid you not, literally above my head in this same building was a staffing firm. And every now and then, Will, I would look up at the ceiling and I would go, that seems a lot easier, you know? I, scouting people. Like my dad and I used to go spy on teams with binoculars, like on their practices and like scouting for talent. And I always had an eye for it, but like change, if you're not in the right career, pull the trigger. And it took me, I thought it for like, 2.5 years. That's a lot of days to fight something that you don't like or believe in. Like, I don't care about a sim, Will. I don't care about SOC as a service. I really don't. I'd be lying to someone if I cared about that. But what I care about, and these are the people like that manager I talked to, they got excited about opening up new stores, that first bang. Then I said, well, Seven Brew's opening up 10 stores a week. So like getting, like, I don't know, just connecting those dots. And even if it doesn't happen, you planted that seed in them. He texted me this morning, hey, I got a hit back from, I forgot which one it was, but like the physics, right? I don't even know anything about physics, really, to be honest, but I do know motion matters. And I think Mark Twain said the fastest way to get ahead is to start. Like when I get a wreck in, Will, like I go Coach Bob White on it, man. Like if Disney hit me with a PHP WordPress engineer at my old company at 9 p.m., it was Latimer time, man. Put the women and children in bed and go hunting for some dinner. Like getting that first round of messages out to candidates just for market intel. I don't care if they're overqualified, underqualified, but I'm learning about the Burbank area's market, what they really get paid, and then all of a sudden they have a referral. Then all of a sudden that doesn't start without starting, man. Like some people will sit there and say, I got to get the best Boolean ever. Like then I got to create a job post while I'm out there running laps around you. It's just like to start that momentum, like even in the morning time, like if you eat well, if you work out, you got probably a pretty good chance of eating well at lunchtime, or like maybe doing something better for you at lunchtime. But if I'm going out like getting wild on breakfast, drinking sodas or whatever, better chance I'm probably not going to treat myself good at lunch or dinner, because my day, like, that's just how my brain's worked or wired. But man, just connecting dots with those folks that they don't see, especially if they are so dedicated, and if they're usually it's their parents never move jobs. Usually that's the data. After you've talked to like 45 people about it, you're like, all right, I got a little sample size here. Yeah, let them know there's other things out there, and then ask them why. What's their fear? And their fear is really not. There's not even a fear at the end of the day. It's usually they're in their own way. And how do you get out of your own way? Like I said, put someone in the lane, have them go 130 miles an hour, get out of their own way. I mean, that's living right there, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same position there. Like, get out of my own way, right? Like you and I have talked about this podcast for, I don't know, at least 6 months. And, you know, I think we were over at Marty B's, and you're like, bro, just do it. Like, it's going to be terrible. It may not be. Just do it though. It gets better.
Dude, you're going to have like bad highlight reels. What's
So,
cooler than that? I still have mine from, dude, well, I got so sick of cold calling. It forced me to podcast. And before the podcast, it forced me to do videos. Dude, I was doing videos about disaster recovery and Scent of a Woman. I was so desperate for like fun. Like have you ever seen that movie?
uh-uh.
And so it's at the end of the movie, Al Pacino's, he's standing up for a kid who got in trouble in college with his buddies. But he said, what did he say? He's like, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, some people run and some people stay. He goes, Charlie here stayed. And I tied that in with the disaster recovery type. We stay when things go down. But like being forced into a hole of uncomfortable, like an uncreativity spot, which is not a good spot for me. I'm not like a walking freaking billboard, man, when it comes to a product or anything. Like being able to have fun with it. That's another thing I learned, Will. I remember like my dad was like, even in like high school, was killing like just mercy ruling teams in Arkansas, because he came from Texas, running the run and shoot in like 1980 before everyone in Arkansas. And I remember asking him, I said, Dad, why do you keep winning so much? And he looked at me, and by the way, he's not what this word is I'm about to say, but he looked at me and he goes, got to make it fun. So my mom and I started calling him Mr. Fun for like to this day, but he meant it. I would ask his kids about it. Like, a guy named Chris Chalmers, he played for the Hogs. I said, Chris, what's about my daddy? He said, dude, he makes it fun. He said, one time it was raining outside and we thought we were about to, all go home for practice. Your dad came out shirtless and just sprinted through the locker room and belly flopped in the mud outside. And we had the best practice we've ever had. Like, that stuff gives me chill bumps to this day. Like, making it fun, man. And that's the real magic, dude. Like, if you can't do that, what are we doing? Are we just going through the motions? You're not even going to get anything innovative. And that's where a bunch of innovation comes, when you're not thinking, when you're going off instinct, when you're creating contact first. Man, I could go all day on this, Will.
You bring up a good point. I mean, we all know that innovation happens kind of in the most odd times, right? Like we oftentimes set forward to do something, but most of the time it just happens, right? Like you almost just stumbled upon it, right? And was it Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways it didn't work. But if he'd have stopped after the first time it didn't work, we wouldn't have the light bulbs. We wouldn't have, all these things. So how do you, how do you really on your teams, right? Or just people that you come in contact with, how do you really tell them, hey, it's okay to fail? What's your let me ask you that. What's your failure story that you use as an example saying, look,
Oh,
I don't
bro.
think I would be where I'm at had I never, whatever, dropped the bomb
Dude,
over here, whatever it was.
guys, I cold called, man. I would leave 150 voicemails a day, just failure after failure. That pushed me into creating videos and pushed me into creating podcasts. Guys, I've been to rehab. I had to like recreate myself. Like I have not always been this. Like, sure, growing up, I I guess use the word, just kicked a bunch of ass in life. But I went through from 26 to 36, not knowing where I was. I've been networking, and I hate that word, by the way. I've got to change it one day, Will. I've been meeting, I'll say, wait, I've been networking in Dallas for only 2.5 years. No one believes that. You would not believe that if you knew, I guess, how, I don't know, strong my squad is, man. Like, but why is it strong? Yeah, that's the question. 2.5 years, I probably met more people than, built trust than people in 20 years. I don't like to really look in the rearview mirror at like the effort I put in. It's a little nauseating. I mean, showing up, at 5:15, getting my ass kicked by the CIO at European Wax Center, in Las Colinas, like Tuesdays, Thursdays. Showing up at 5:30 in the morning doing workouts with the CIO at Chuck E. Cheese, like with a bunch of old dudes in a cinder block. Going to the shooting range, hitting another jujitsu mat with another buddy who's an IT exec. Really getting into what other people are into, growing yourself, and serving first. If you focus on serving first, you cannot fail. That is it to me. If you walk into a networking room and all you do is pray that you want to bring joy over someone today, just that little prayer. God, before I walk in here, just let me bring some joy to someone today. Let me serve someone today. Do that for a year. It's a grind. I didn't ask for business, man. I said, I am going to meet people the right way. I don't care what my company says. There's no fear. There's no failure in serving. And the more I serve, Will, the more I find myself. It's very counterintuitive. But I learned that a lot in the program that I was in those dark times, man. Like, half the guys I helped didn't have a car, serving that, even those little services, picking up your phone for people. My sponsor said, you have a phone for a reason. It's to, call and help someone out if they need you. Because guess what? Tyler White's available now. Like all the freaking time. You're not hungover on Mondays, man. you're ready to power I right 44 Wham Monday. Yeah, serving takes away. I mean, what fears is there in serving?
I think a lot of people still have fear, but I think it's one thing that you've probably unlocked. It really unlocked it for me is it's being very, it's that whole servant leadership style. Do for others, and it may come back, it may not, but usually it does. But it usually comes back not the way you think it does,
Dude,
or
and
not the way you would in your mind you would expect it. So I go help Tyler. So Tyler's gonna help me back. Well, maybe not even directly, right? Maybe Tyler's got somebody else, and all of a sudden that extra connection all of a sudden helps me in a way, just things like that. People just they overlook that. We become very transactional, right?
here,
I think honestly as a society as a whole, I kind of feel we've become very transactional. And it worries me a little bit because, I mean, I've got kids, I've got grandkids that are, growing up understanding these things, and, you do your level best as a parent and grandparent to say, "Hey, my grandparents used to tell me why you can do, because there may be a time when you can't, and hopefully you've done something that will come back to you at that time."
yeah, man.
Just
It's like,
I didn't at that time, I was just like, "What are you talking about?" Like, yeah, I take you to lunch. I got some money. I'll buy you lunch. I'll buy you breakfast. Whatever. It didn't make any sense. And as I've gotten older, and and some of the people that one, you've introduced me into some fantastic people, but just the way you watch how you serve people, it's not a matter of, okay, Will, I've helped you out twice now. Where where's mine? You are not a transactional person, right? You're purposeful. And I know a lot of that comes from your background and your hard knocks, right? I assume that it comes from the hard knocks because that's usually where we learn the most,
yeah, I
getting
mean,
our teeth kicked in.
well, I had to pick a higher power, man. I remember, and at that time, I was not too close, dude, with anything, man. Like I knew it was in there, but just beat, dude. And I was like, one day I woke up and I was like, told the person, I was like, I was like, my higher power is action. And they looked at me and they were like, well, never heard that before. Why? And I said, I feel and see and hear God in harmony in action. It's never in words, like maybe in a song or like in some notes, but like I see it in action. And those people that you were talking about, Will, worried about keeping score, they're not busy enough in really living. Like I wouldn't, the word busy is bad there. They're not living, man. Like if you're really living, dude, you don't even know what's going on in the news. You have no political view. You really don't if you're really that busy, like with life. Then you turn the news or my good litmus test is like, I remember I turned on Netflix a while back and like I saw a show and I texted a buddy about it and he was like, Todd, White, that's been out for like 3 years. And I was like, good. That means I don't know what's new on freaking Netflix, man. Like if you, and I'm not trying to like preach at all, but that's just my experience, Will. When I have it turned on the TV, the apps, the news, when I'm behind in sports is another great one. You can watch the freaking replays, guys. You can watch, and that's when I started getting in this like health journey. Like it was during red zone season. Seeing the sun come down on a Sunday when you've been sitting on the couch with your stupid fantasy team is not the best feeling. And then Sunday night football hits and you're like, ugh, another game. So I just started going to the gym at noon. I was like, let me put red zone on at the gym. Guess what? I didn't even put it on.
Yeah.
Guess what? The game was still played. I could still see highlights if I wanted to. But instead of watching other people work out and get better at their craft, I use that time to get better at Tyler instead of watching someone else get better. Like being the game and not the player, Will, is another thing I wanted to bring up with you. That's why I created a Lone Star Leadership Lounge, man. I was at a conference with like 900 people, 7 panelists, and everyone like ran after the panelists like a bunch of weirdos afterwards. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to like really meet people. And that's when I called Fern. Fern, you want to throw a party? Absolutely. Renard, want to throw a party? That's how that happened. 2 phone calls. Like creating things and then we're at the DMA with a billionaire on stage 3 weeks ago. Like that came from 2 phone calls. Creating things out of thin air, man. I don't know. Like my dad did get me into like some fun magic when I was a kid. Like there's just something about it, man. Like the work, the creation. Like if I can create something once a day, whether it's a new song on the violin or the keyboards or the guitar, or if I just sketch something, or if I go work on my vertical to create a bigger, more of a vertical, like something that I can create, man, within me, I can't put words to it, man. Like it keeps the brain sharp. I feel like I look younger, think younger than I did 6 years ago, Will. 6 years ago, I was hooping like 5 days a week, but I had to take a day off every other day, like I was telling you. 7 years ago, Will, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years down the road, I can play every day. And I do that to the cold plunge, taking care of my body, like little things like that, man. But yeah, I don't know what question you asked, man, but like creating things every day, keeping your brain, your purpose sharp, like finding your purpose sucks, guys. Like if you're listening to this and you're young, you're 25, you're trying to find it. I don't know the answer. I think Matthew McConaughey said it pretty good a while back. Like find out what you're not more than what you are for a while, and I also tack on and serve, because the more I served others, the more I knew who I really was. Like I said, very counterintuitive, but when you're helping people, it's sharpening you. Because if I'm giving you some advice, Will, on like how to put the bottle down or the pills or whatever, I better have my crap in line, man. Like I'll never forget, I had a kid, like I would have bet $1 billion this kid would have made it, man. Like if you'd have given Tyler about $1 billion and they said, hey, is this kid going to make it? I'd be like, I will bet opposite. But dude, I remember his 3rd day, he had the shake still. He was about 4'11", Will, and he looked up at me and he goes, man, you really don't drink. And like that, I'll never forget, man, that little like light in his eye. That's not much, right? Day 2, looks up at me. Man, you really don't drink. And he had this like chipper, like this little grin on his face, probably for the first time in 10 years, to be honest. Like giving people that slice of hope, man. People gave me that. People gave me that, man. And I still remember them, and they just pass it on. Because I swear, man, I'm not going to go 6 feet under as a staffing sales guy. I can bet your ass. I'm going to make more of an impact on this planet. And I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, but man, even that, dude, it's like
something bigger.
Well, yeah, and like getting better at other things than your craft. I should have probably done that with basketball. I got like obsessed, and like I went through the season of the yips. If you don't know what the yips are, it's really used in baseball terminology when like even professional pitchers in the MLB can't throw a baseball from here to 5 feet and hit a target because it's like I said, the thinking, man. And like when you're hitting life from the chest, dude, it feels worlds apart than trying to think through things. Like I was just coaching a kid in basketball last night, and he was like, his mechanics were just a little jittery on his 3-ball. And I was like, dude, let it freaking rip, man. You're just thinking, just work. That follow through is all we're thinking about. I don't care. And like first shot, he gets a grin on his face, man. Second, he's like, man, and then his legs were a little, mechanical. And I was like, all right, now you're doing that with your legs. Now let's get the flow going. And then he starts doing that. And all of a sudden all he's thinking about is putting the ball in the basket, man. He's not thinking about his elbow and all this bull crap we learned in the 90s. That's not even true anymore. Like he's like thinking about, I'm going to score this son of a gun. And in life, man, you show up to work and you're thinking, hey, I'm about to just put this son of a gun in the mercy rule today. We're going to be up by 65 at half today. And that doesn't happen thinking your way through and documenting every single thing, like especially in the sales world. If you're like a big documenter, that ain't making you money, everybody. I'm the worst documenter of all time for a reason. I should get better at that. My bosses out there, but like, I don't think they're complaining too much.
Why does documenting suck so bad? I mean, we got things that we could use now that we never could, but I had to take basically we took 2 years, and that was what our KPIs were. You got to produce so many documents every quarter. And I feel dumb, the more I've thought about it, for me in leadership, some of the things that agitate you the most are the most childish thing, right? Like I've had to, write people up. I've had to let people go, and it just always seems, I'll be sitting there after it happens, and HR just kind of giving you a brief walk through, and you're like, and what's wrong? I'm like, I just feel like it's the dumbest thing that I got to let a guy go over that. But at the same time, why the hell? I mean, we're adults, we're professionals. Why the hell am I having to ask you to do your job? Why am I having to pull out your job description and remind you that this is part of your job?
Yeah, well, I did not belong in operations, brother. Yeah, like I remember those days. I like led a team of like 22, dude. like when people came in 7 minutes late, I would like my director would make me explain why, and I'm like, dude, these are like adults. Like the sales world, the creative world, man, is I break too many rules to be in operations. Like I'm very what did they call me at my last company? Ginobili. They call me Jedi Ginobili because I was so unorthodox, like my style. I just didn't know better. Like I said, naively unhumble, dude. I had no idea. But like I remember like 2012 through like 2018 when I was like going through that rough patch. That was a weird time of business, man. Like it wasn't very creative. People were like siloed in boxes. Like we like used email templates, man. Like that makes me nauseous. Like automating the relationship
Yeah.
is not in any fiber of my being. And once I learned how to not, you don't automate the relationship. I mean, even if you got a ping back from somebody for that, that the discovery call, they're not telling you the truth, but if you help, their wife out, get connected to women in tech because she's at home all the time. And my peer is traveling all the time. That's like really helping people, like getting creative with it, man. That guy's probably going to tell me his pain at work. If I helped his family life out, like there's just so many ways, dude, to help, but you can't help, man, in my experience, if you're not all in line. And, not all in line, like I'd say 80% there, 90% there. But if you're like -12 like I was, dude, I couldn't help you, man. And if I did, I was just being a yes man, and I was like crushing my soul just to yes man.
Yeah. So one last little thing before we move on is like, you always hear you can't pour from an empty cup. And I know we all have days and times where, we keep pouring and we're just, shaking that damn thing to get that last drop out. But I'll pour back into myself later. I guess a couple things. Why do you feel that we struggle, especially when you're trying to lead that way? And what advice do you have for people that kind of helps them understand that you can still do both? You really got to bring it back, self care, and then move that on down the road. Because you think about servant leadership, you're like, well, I just have to be out helping Tyler. I have to be out helping somebody, but you know, where is it getting poured back into? How do you help? What would your advice be to help somebody remember that we have to do these
So
things?
I think like two things. If you're just starting, go a year and don't think about it. Don't worry about it. But if like you will get to that point, and people feel it on you. The best leaders, coaches I've had, every one of them has been like obsessed and had passions for other things. Like if I'm walking in the door and I like that's how my CEO was with the MSSP, the coolest dude ever. I just wasn't, that wasn't my bag, but like he loved like baseball still. Like his best friend, I was in upstate New York, his best friend played for the Razorbacks, man. That's a leader. He was worldly, knew everything. He would like look at my high school stuff, like, and just spit stats out, like real talk, right? We're not talking about SOC as a service, man. But I've had those leaders on the other end of the spectrum acting like they love electronic medical records, bro. Like, love it. Like they go home, you're getting emails at 10 at night. When you get those emails from leadership at 10 at night, or if I've had a leader who's so obsessed, let's just use the electronic medical records, I see weakness in that. And I was like a peon, man. I was like 26 years old. But there's weakness, I think, when people devote themselves to their career. Because to me, you really don't, like, you truly don't love your career. Usually you love your people, you love you like winning, but you don't love electronic medical records, man.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe you do benefits, financial advising, like showing your character outside of your work is the win right here is what I'm going to get to. Like even on these hikes, like if a CISO sees me helping on a hike or being of service, imagine that, right? Being of service, it's probably going to be a pretty easy conversation about if I can find you a freaking developer. Like, so like how does Will or how does Tyler show themselves outside of their profession at work that shows your character, your integrity? And for those leaders that are just bogged out, and those leaders don't mean to be obsessed with what they're doing, they just don't have any other outlet. But just for all the leaders that know, a lot of your team has other outlets. Some of them love the Cowboys, the Razorbacks, their family, jujitsu, basketball, whatever. I don't know. Lean into it. Lean into like what you really like. Try it out at least. Give me your feedback on that. Yeah, being obsessed with your career, it's just a weakness to me that I've spotted even when I was in a dark place in my life.
Find something new to fail at, right?
Yeah, you get to fail. Like if I could live like 30 lives, Will, I would do it like today because I just want to get into things. I tell people I don't have time to read books, nor do I read books. But like if I could have a life where I could sit out in the sun today and read a few chapters, man, that'd be a little sector of my life. But at the same time, I'd be shooting a bow and arrow. I'd be trying to ride a horse. I'd be trying to, uh, do something with these dang homeless cities, man. Like, to me, it's like the other day it hit me. I was like, if Jesus was here, where would he go? Would he go to South Lake today? Make sure everyone's doing good.
San Fran or Austin lately.
Is everyone doing good in South Lake? Man, like I would devote my life to so many things, man. Really change this place.
Yeah, I think we have more people thinking in that line, Bill, that so many things just get so far twisted, and we just want to blame each other. We don't want to take accountability. I want to talk about what you're not doing, even though I'm not doing anything either. And I think,
and that goes back to the action part, Will. Like, if you don't have enough action in your life, that does seep into your brain. It doesn't seep into your chest.
Yeah.
When you start feeling that, it's all here. It is not like you ain't getting goosebumps or any feelings. It's just like nauseating right here about the news, about the blah, blah, blah. They did this, but dude, they always told us in the program, keep your side of the street clean.
Yeah.
Keep your side of the street clean. And sure enough, it'll start attracting people. And I kid you not, man, Will, people come up to me and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, your energy. I had a CISO call me last week. Sweet lady from Louisiana, had the coolest accent. She goes, Tyler, we just all want to be like you. And I was like, Mignano, are you kidding me? What? And I go, why? I always ask why. That's the best question of all time. She goes, because you're always smiling. She goes, we're all stressed out and you're just smiling, and I'm not on anything. Well, I thought the booze had to do that for me, man. Yeah. Like, I thought the whiskey had to do that for me. But like, when people start coming up to you, is the ultimate litmus test of my heart in my life. If I'm like not drinking or drugging, dude, and people aren't asking me why I'm in a good mood, I'm like a dry drunk is what they call it. I'm still in that narcissistic, just me, them. I know about the news too damn much. All of a sudden, you can always peg those people. They turn, and it's just a habit too. They turn it on. They have one opinion. It's just, it ain't healthy. And there's another side to life, guys. Like, I'm a living proof of it, that you don't have to watch the news. You don't have to have an opinion. You can help people.
Yeah.
Helping people, like I keep saying, there ain't no failure in it.
Absolutely. We're going to move on to what I'm calling barrel proof. It's a lightning round, 5 questions, no thinking. Just give it to me.
Okay.
All right. Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Hire the person or the paper?
Person, dog.
Books or podcast?
Pods.
Coffee before email?
Depends on what season I'm in. I can go no coffee for a while, but hey, can I stop? If I'm, that's another thing, Will, is a litmus test for me. If I'm relying on coffee,
gotcha,
is not the best season of life for me. We probably don't need it. But anyway, both, man. I could go either or.
All right, last one. I think I know the answer, but I got to ask it anyway. Big win or always win?
Dude, big win. I'll elaborate on that, man. I forgot who it was, either Coach Saban, someone. They said to their team, do you remember beating, no, it was someone talking about Alabama. They said to their football team, do you guys remember beating Fordham last year? And everyone's like, what? Sure. And they go, do you remember beating Alabama? And just the kid, like the big win, dude, the big win, man.
All right. That's where I figured you would land,
I mean, because mentality always win, but the mentality is like, it's not even the win, man. Like, get a shot at it. Like Justin Smith, my CEO at that MSSP, would always say the quote, don't fear the fear of failure, feel the fear of not getting the chance to fail, pretty much. Like, and that relates to me, like one time, like when I broke my ankle, like 10 years ago, you know how much I just wanted to walk and run and like sweat, but I was disabled to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have the chance to fail because I was on the couch. But man, as soon as that steel healed up and those pins healed up, man, that's when I kind of devoted myself. Like, you have the chance to fail now. And like not even having the chance, not even being in the game, not even being in the arena or on the bench. Yeah, that's my answer to that, dude.
I like that. We're gonna roll into final pour. What's your final thought for the day? Like something that you just want to leave somebody with.
Oh,
That 25-year-old that's looking for life, that 60-year-old he's nearing the end of his career, hopefully, but really pour something into them that just gives them that aha moment that, "Oh, shit, I never thought about it that way."
probably start something new today. Doesn't matter what it is. Write a few like lines to a song you want to make up. Just create something today. If you're either age, start something new. Call someone you haven't called in a while. Get outside of yourself. And I would say pump the brakes on seeking so much. Like as soon as I learned, like that year I went, Will, without not asking anybody for anything besides how I can help them in life, not in staffing. Do it for a year. See where you get. Stay connected to communities, to people. Find balance in it though. Don't people yourself. And don't worry about all the plans. Like I think just there's so much going on really right now, Will. Right in this moment, there's some magic going on. There's presence. Like, don't worry. Like I think Chris Paul the other day, I saw all the clips said just stack days on days, and that's like the one day at a time philosophy, which is funny, by the way. A lot of these new philosophies are from a book from 1956. They just keep repeating.
Change the name so it seems new.
Yeah. Stop using buzzwords all the time. Get better with, being you. Stop saying authentic. If someone tells me authentic one more time, Will, it's just like, I don't know. When someone's hurting and you feel it, ask how you can help.
Yeah.
And one of the most important things to me is sweating every single day. Find out a way to just sweat. Like, I know it sounds simple, but man, deserving a shower matters. Like if you're just showering to shower, there's not much spirituality in that or growth. But when I'm showering because I just sweated my butt off because I was doing a 2-a-days or whatever it was around my neighborhood, and I think we all want one thing that no one thinks about, and that's to sleep well at night. Like when I first got like back into life, like people would ask me what I was doing today at Will, and I would say, I'm sleeping good tonight. And they'd be like, that's it? And I'm like, that's a freaking lot, man. If you've been where I've been, and a lot of others, it's not just me, but if you've been where me and my compadres have been in this dark hell, we had to take a lot of things to sleep for half a decade or a decade, but like that's a peace of mind test to me. And these are just recommendations I give, by the way. Like I don't tell anyone. I just share from my experience. And once you've been there, man, and you can share if you've seen someone that's been where you are struggling, there's no better person to help them than you. Because you can call from the time they wake up, you can probably plan their routine to the time they go to bed, and they look at you like you're a dadgum like Houdini, man. They like you're the expert in helping where you've messed up to others that are messing up now is what I'd say to people.
Yeah. Who better to learn from than somebody that's already played that, song, right?
Oh, and then and they're already on the other side of it, and you're like, I can be that. And then you've done what I've done, and then in 2.5, like it's been about 6 years since I started that journey, but like my serving journey started 2.5 years ago, and here I am, man. Can't even believe where I am. Think about me cold calling for MSSPs, man, 150 voicemails a day. Fast forward in 7 years, and I'm driving CISOs up a mountain to a brewery, get like bear hugs. Like some of them are best friends, man. Like that ain't me, man. That's action. And something not that's a higher power right there.
CISO Ascent, did that one start from a phone call?
That started. You like this one, Will? So I met Bryce at a Hurtado barbecue in Arlington one afternoon. We ate barbecue. I didn't tell him what I did for a living. He confused his MS DOS crashed, and he like called me, and he was like, "Dude, I've never had someone meet me for lunch and not talk about IT. What do you do?" And like, he loved it so, like that approach so much that 2 weeks later, he texted me and was like, "I need a hype man for something that's going to be pretty cool, I think." So think about that, Will. If I tried to like sell Bryce, the first time I ever met the guy, ain't no way he's calling me to be a part of something that's just changed my trajectory. Like, can't even like describe this to people, like where my life is now, man. But like, that all happened because I didn't tell someone what I did for a living, man. And I'll leave people with that. When you go to your next event, ask people how they're feeling. Or if you see someone feeling good, why are they feeling good? What are you up to today? Don't ask them what they do, where they work.
Find that connection.
Don't go anywhere. And it's not fun talking about what you do all the time at work. Like, I don't know, just be a ball of light and bring some joy to folks. How do you do that? Do it your own way. You don't have to be freaking crazy, man, like me, pancaking, guard, left tackles for fun. And that's another thing. I do know I have to harness my energy and my time. And, I think Taylor Swift said her energy or her time is worth more than $1 trillion. And at the time I was like, no way. But like, once you've like started to like find your God path or whatever you want to call it, time is it. And I have empathy for all y'all that I blasted voicemails to for years. I get why you didn't get back to me because you were on a different trajectory than I was. So yeah, man, that's what I'd leave
We can't
people with.
replenish.
What?
It's the one thing we can't replenish, time.
No.
Oh. Well, Tyler, it has been excellent. I absolutely, I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna have to buy you to give you so much thanks for being my first guest and helping me get this thing rolling. But exactly what I figured it would be, just a plethora of information that hopefully people will be able to garnish something from, right? It's the whole point of this is just to give people something that they don't normally hear from leaders of a very high caliber, right? Like you said, at 26, you were not in the same place that you are at 36 as that you are at 40, 41 and a quarter, 40 and a quarter. But I think it's going to mean something to somebody, and it'll be that one that's like, man,
Yeah.
it's that one moving part that they're just happen to be overlooking that they're missing, and hopefully it brings it together for them. But like I say, I appreciate your time. Appreciate everything that you've done for me, all the connections and everything. But looking to the next event.
And Will, there's no money or transaction involved, my man. The only thing I'd ask is just be available for people, dude.
Yeah.
Just be available. That's what makes us connected, because we can't be connected without being available. And I want to just shout out my Uncle John too, real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
He
go
passed
for
away
it.
last night, and he was he actually, this is kind of cool. This lined up today, Will. Like, he was the only person in our family who had this like boastful radio voice. And he was like the best shit talker of all time. Like, I would put him up against like Conor McGregor. And like, one memory I'll never forget. So I was probably the best basketball player in like whatever our conference growing up. I got obsessed with it. And I'll never forget, we were at a Razorback football game one time. I was like in maybe sixth, seventh grade. And I was like this tall, by the way, and I was a point guard. Like, I was like an animal. These kids from Springdale Southwest and Ramey Junior High are like walking up the bleachers. They're like my age. And my Uncle John, dude, is just charismatic. Like, he was one of those guys who could talk jive and like get away with it. Like, everyone's laughing, but I'll never forget. Ramey Junior High and Springdale Southwest kids, he's like pointing at him telling him how his nephew could whoop all their asses in basketball, and he can't wait to this. I'm serious. He's like talking crap to 7th graders about me, but like also getting away with it. And like, just, I'll never forget it, man. Like, I was like, this guy has got my back, man. Like, and like just the way he was, I always tell people I had 2 Uncle Johns. One was a U.S. ambassador in Venezuela and Cuba that knew 7 languages. The Uncle John that went to heaven last night was a truck driver and could have been a stand-up comedian. I remember like he would like get me, and he would always go to baseball games on the road, and he would always get me a player's autograph on a napkin. And it would be like 2 dang years to see him sometimes, but he would walk in with like a stack of napkins, and we would just go through all the autographs, just like, that was just a cool way of serving. But like being like, this is one of those terms I can't stand because it's overused, but like being like bold and knowing your voice, that's what he taught me. Like, he would just let it freaking rip wherever he was, and people just loved him. So yeah, shout out to Uncle John who passed last night.
Well, sorry to hear of the loss. It's never easy. At least you got those good memories though, right? That's the whole, living that life forward. Got that memory of him, and seems like he was doing it right no matter what he did. So
didn't matter, man. Like, he had a stage in his pocket, dude, and I do too. I don't care where I am. I'm asking people questions, dude, especially if you're feeling good. Like, why the heck are you feeling good? Like, when I ask people that, like, they're, ask someone that sometime. No one ever asks that to anybody. I've come to find out. I have some data on that too, but and that helps the other people, like, because those people that are doing the spiritual work to feel good need to hear it sometimes too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. God, man, it's been great. Love listening to stories, and just, I don't know, you just have that, it's a persona, and, from the first time we met over at 407, I was just like, man, there's something different about this guy.
We really don't love work, man. Like, we like success and winning and taking care of our families, but we don't love it, man. We love people.
Yeah.
We love contact. We love sweat. We love looking better. We love sounding better. That's the beauty of it, man. It never ends.